Praise the Lord. Can we please be seated? And I'd like to thank our Father, the General Overseer of Glory Christian Ministries, Dr. I.S. James. Yes, please. And the church for this privileged invitation to speak at the Glory Summit. I'm asked to speak on the topic, and I know I have just about an hour. So I'll be talking around communication, managing people, managing scarce resources. Then I'll wrap up with 8 things that you can do to be excellent in your role. Because I like to share in a way that you can take something you can use as it is. Not just, again, to take it and just have a good time, but things you can be excellent in whatever roles you are operating in. But first, I'd like to give 2 quick disclaimers. The first disclaimer is that I'd like to remind us that as Christians, we don't need to work for our salvation. As Christians, we don't need to work for our salvation. So when we speak of management excellence, it's not like we are engaging ourselves to work for what is freely given. So it's not by our excellent works. It's a free gift. It's by grace. It's given. It's just for you to collect and begin to operate in it. That's first disclaimer. Second disclaimer. The church is a school where we come to be taught, to be equipped, to go out there and do the work. So, some of you have been in school for 30 years. So you're celebrating 30th anniversary. What work have you gone to do out there? I'm 3 times past president of Federal Government College Lagos Old Student Association. I'm of the class of 1980. And some of the jokes when we gather as old students is they call people like me ancestors. We're not old students anymore, we're ancestors. So some of you are ancestors in this place. You have overstayed your schooling. Stop taking baby milk. That's second disclaimer. You need to be working out there for people to see the equipping that you've gained in 5, 10, 20, 30 years. And stop just enjoying fellowshipping together. That is not the object of the management excellence that is expected of us as Christians. Now to the message. Management excellence with emphasis on church leadership. Just to break some of the words down for meaning. Management simply means the art of managing something. The manner in which you direct or use anything. That's what management is about. Then excellence means to be superior or better than all others of the same sort. That's the meaning of excellence. To have qualities in large measure. That's the meaning of excellence. So, management excellence simply means using good qualities to do anything better than all others. And that's my coinage, so you can quote me for that one. Using good qualities to do anything better than all others. Then, that is management excellence. Anything, whether it's cooking, whether it's sweeping, whether it's teaching, whether it's parenting, whether it's fathering, mothering, husbanding, wifing, carpenter, engineer, using good qualities to do anything better than all others. That's management excellence. However, a good way to understand management excellence is actually to understand poor management. And I'll give you a few examples of poor management. The Lagos-Ibadan train breaking down on the way because it ran out of diesel. That is poor management excellence. I mean, it's just normal. You should know how much diesel will take you from Lagos to Ibadan. So for a train to break down midway in the bush, that's poor management excellence. Another example of poor management is you're a pastor or a departmental head, and your people are not growing. How long have you been in charge of that parish, that ministry, that department? Are the people under you growing? Especially if you have been their head or leader for at least 1 year and beyond. Can any of them point and say, this is the growth, this is progress? I can point at several of people who have worked under me. They are changed, they are different, and it's an intentional effort. So when you don't see that, there is no management excellence in that person or in that place. Again, please, as I speak, if you feel it's touching you, the essence is to be better. None of us is perfect. Only God is to move forward from wherever you are. So whether you're on level 2, okay, if we can get you to go to level 4 on a scale of 0 to 10, then you have moved. So if you're on level 8, okay, can you move to level 9? So don't feel bad, whatever I say, if it appears that it's touching you, that really is the objective. Another example of poor management excellence is you enter the toilets in public places, especially our airports, including the international one, and there's no toilet roll. And by the time you're coming out of it, somebody is giving you toilet roll, and you wonder, this place was outsourced to some company to manage. So obviously there's poor management excellence. Guess what? One of the tests I always run when I go to any speaking engagement is I ask to use their toilet as I arrive. Pastor Ifeanyi wasn't aware when I said, I want to use the bathroom. Your toilets have toilet roll. They have water. It's very clean. Another thing I tested for management excellence is this service started 9 a.m. on the dot. That's management excellence. These things don't happen. So when I see it, I applaud it. Now, however, I hope all of that is not happening because this is the glory dome. Because Dr. I.S. James is in charge here. What is happening in your own parish? What is happening in your house? What is happening in your office, on your desk? Can we say the same thing? I can say the same thing of all these examples I've given you. That's management excellence. But do you know why we have poor management excellence? Like I said, before I talk on management excellence, I felt I needed to touch on what is not, so that you can then appreciate what is better. Wherever you find poor management excellence, it means there's poor leadership. Somebody there is just in position or authority. They are not responsible. The word responsible actually comes from 2 words: ability to respond. That's the meaning of responsibility. So if you are in a position of authority, it means you are given the ability to respond. So if it's not happening, second reason why those things persist is when there is no consequence. By this morning, the Nigerian Railway MD should be sacked. Or he should sack whoever is in charge of giving diesel. But what do we see? I see in social media, this government. Is it government running the train? Is it the president driving that train? Because until we begin to take responsibility like that, we keep on pushing the blame. It things like that can't ever happen in my office. Never. Our resumption time is 8 a.m. Nobody comes late, but we don't have attendance register. So nobody checks it. Why? I own the business. I'm in the office before 8. For 16 years, if I'm in the office before 8, I don't need to tell you to come early. I don't need to. So I can't make the rule, and because I'm the boss, the pastor, the leader, then you break the rule. That's poor management excellence. Do you know that it is easier to confuse success and failure than we realize? Just ponder on that. It's easier to confuse success and failure than we realize. We actually live in a culture that is permeated by idolatry of success. And we confuse failure for success. The general belief around society, worldwide, including our country, is Unless something is bigger and better and popular, we consider it a failure. So we measure success by size, better, and popularity. Not necessarily. Sadly, such thinking has infected the church. I'm sure for most pastors here, one of the first questions or most frequently asked questions to you will be, how large is your congregation? Whoever told you the size of the congregation is success? No. That's not God's measure. It's not how large. So we need to be careful in pushing this. Leadership, ministry effectiveness, and spirituality are now judged on the basis of worldly successes. We need to be careful and not to fall into such measures. That is not the excellence that we are addressing this morning. It's not the management excellence that God's church should be associated with. Christians should be the best in every industry because we are called to be excellent. It's our calling. We are called to be excellent. And if you need further proof, can someone please read 1 Peter chapter 2, verse 9? I'm reading from the NIV version. But you are a chosen race, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, a people for his own possession. Now listen to this. That you may proclaim the excellencies of him who called you out of darkness into marvelous light. Just a simple call to be image bearers of God is a call to excellency itself. We must be excellent. That really is the light that transforms darkness. So if we say there's a lot of darkness, a lot of ill and evil in our country, the problem simply means we are not shining as light. Around me, there's no darkness. In my work, and we're in several businesses, we have almost 10,000 staff and about 100 core staff. There's no darkness because we consistently shine as light within our own circle. So we're in Nigeria like we're not Nigerians. Right. So it's possible. It's possible. It's possible. And you know, each time we talk about Nigeria, Nigeria is not a geographical space. Nigeria is you and me. There's something called Nigeria. It's you and me. So each time we say that, what we're saying is, I am the problem. That is management excellence God's way. Can you imagine what it would look like if every Christian took seriously the call to excellence? Let's do this for a few seconds. Can you just close your eyes? Just close your eyes. And then reflect and imagine a Nigeria or a world, let's even start in Nigeria. Imagine a Nigeria, right, where every one of us takes excellence seriously. Just imagine in your inner mind what kind of country that would be. That the train will never stop on the way. That nobody will jump the queue. It will certainly be a country where nobody sees a red light and just passes through. A country where everybody is selfless and it's not about what is in it for me or my family. We can open our eyes if you haven't done so already. That kind of Nigeria is possible. What usually keeps us constrained is we forget, like I've defined, that you can create your own Nigeria within Nigeria. If you're worrying about the bigger country, you can't ever achieve it. But you know what? It's like throwing a pebble in a pool of water. As it drops, you'll see a tot, then you see ripples, and the ripples widen. So if each of us are dropping pebbles, you create an ocean. And at least for you, everywhere around you would be like an excellent in this same Nigeria. And there are many like that. Unfortunately, the press does not find people like that worthy to be mentioned. So all that is reported is what is bad. So we need to be careful and not be so corrupted. When we take the call seriously, a lot of training and equipping is however required. So to achieve this excellence I'm talking about, a lot of training and equipping is required. And a lot of it you have to do yourself beyond just what the church gives you. You have to invest in improving yourself. Do you know that in a race, all the runners run, but only one gets the prize? So we need to run in such a way as to get the prize. Everyone who competes in games goes into strict training. They do it to get a crown that will not last, but we do it to get a crown that will last forever. And that was 1 Corinthians 9, 24 to 25, by the way. 1 Corinthians 9, 24 to 25. This verse, 1 Corinthians 9, 24 to 25, explicitly says that we should be running the race as if we are going to get a prize. And we are. An everlasting prize. That means we should be training and working. Training and working. That's why I said it's not just to be equipped by the church. What work are you doing with the training? So it is training and working. Training and working. Training and working. Diligently to be the best we can. It's also a reminder that the prize we are competing for is one that will last forever. So management excellence requires you and I to stand out as church leaders. To stand out in excellence. That is a personal journey. Nobody can do it for you. You have to do it by yourself. Now, in actual fact, the summary of my sharing with you today is actually practice what you preach. You can change that topic, management excellence, to practice what you preach. Because if you really practice what you preach, you'll be excellent. But the converse is what a lot of us do. We don't practice what we preach. So pastors and leaders of Glory Christian Ministries, please practice what you preach, nothing more. Because excellence, like every other thing on earth, actually is a derivative of our mindset. As you are listening to me now, you all have your mindsets. I have my mindset. A mindset is how we view life. People with a negative mindset, everything is processed in the negative. This country is finished. Nothing good can come out. It's coming from a mindset. Poverty mentality is a mindset. Years back, when I was living in some face here, face me in the Butimeta, and I started my career in banking, I used to be very upset when I see people buy brand new cars. Because at that time, a brand new car was like 1 million, 1.2 million, brand new. Tokumbo was 100,000, 130. So I'm like, what's wrong with this? Is it not to move from here to here? Why would you spend so much money to buy a car? I didn't know I was suffering from poverty mentality. By the time I was privileged to now be able to afford or be gifted by the office a brand new car, the difference is plenty. I said, why are they flying business class? Are we not all going to arrive the same time? Turn your prayer to God. Please enable me the capacity to do it. That is a mentality that has abundance. Because once you have poverty mentality, it's not a curse. You can't ever be comfortably. It's your mindset. It's your mindset. The person that is allocated to manage the toilets in the airport, him and his staff, rather than put toilet roll, they will rather roll it and give you. They're trying to save costs. And they are foolish. They think they are making more money. It comes from a poverty mindset. You go to an Owambe party, they hire plastic spoon. You collect. Then there's one room in your house of souvenir. It's poverty mindset. Hello? Go and check. You haven't used some of them in 5 years. The next party, you collect. You don't use it. You don't need it. It's poverty mindset. Because you can't have management excellence if you don't have excellent mindset. So it comes from who you associate with. And like I said, by association, I'm a member of this church. I follow Dr. S. James. I'm one of the monitoring spirits. So there's excellent deliverables. So if you are not seeing it in your own life, you need deliverance. Because it comes from a mindset. And you should be careful who you associate and hang out with. So once I get in even if I'm in a public space like this, maybe waiting for a flight or train, and 2 rows, they are talking, this country is finished. I take my bag, I move far. Because it is contagious. I don't want it to enter my spirit at all. Because we're making it in this same Nigeria. And we're not stealing anybody's money. We're not killing anybody. The difference is your mindsets. So be careful who you associate with. Whether it's family or friend or benefactor, you need to find time to begin to avoid them. Our mindset is the way we think. So how did we get to those mindsets? It comes from practice and habits. How do we change it? Again, change your practice, change your habits. Begin to associate with the right people, as it is, who are making it in this same country. But again, the press will never carry you. I'm sure some of you are meeting me for the first time ever. But there are many like me, many. But nobody will talk about us. But the day that I do something bad, negative, that's when the press will carry it. You see, the things I do today determines the habits I will have tomorrow. So same with all of us. Today matters. Don't worry what has happened up until this moment. It's what you do today. In fact, it's what you do in the next 4 hours of today that determines how your tomorrow would be. Don't worry about the past. Don't worry. I mean, if you just Google me, you'll be amazed. But I'm a 3rd class graduate. I did WAEC like 3 times. JAM 2 times. So nothing in my career or past can ever have projected that I will be standing in front of you today. So it's possible. What happened? People exposed me to these things I'm sharing with you. Change your mindset by changing who you hang out with and who you associate with. It will take time. That transformation for me is like 27 years. So it won't happen in 1 year. It won't happen in 2 years. But it will happen. I'm closer to 60 than 50. So what's your hurry, some of you? So if you look at me, I may look like my son is 29 years old. He's an architect. My daughter is 27. She's an architect. So there's time. But if I tell you I'm 44, you won't argue. So there's time. If you do the right thing, even your body, your health, everything transforms. That is the excellent mindset. I hope this makes sense to you. Also, don't be discouraged by how little the changes you are making may look like, because that's what usually frustrates us. Do you know that even light, the light that the candle gives, is not as large as the light that the lantern gives? It's not as large as the light that these floodlights give. This, as bright as it is not as large as the light that the sun gives. So just stay in your lane. Just stay in your lane. If your first light is candle light, be comfortable with it. And stop worrying about, okay, why is Dr. I.S. James' own like this? No. If you also speak to him, as he must have told you, he didn't start like this now. That's where we make the mistake. We're usually in a hurry. Just start with your candle light, then let it enlarge to lantern light. Then from lantern light, it becomes floodlight. Then it becomes the sun. And until God calls us home, there's no finish line. So stop drawing finish lines that it is late. There's no finish line. Some people say me do something. Say, but Soji, at your age? I said, what do you mean your age? After all, you said my age, not your own age. It's my age now. So there's no finish line. So I'm 40. Oh, I'm 50. Oh, I've retired. So you are drawing finish lines. What is retirement? There's no finish line until God takes the breath away. Trust me, choosing to stand out like I'm sharing with you to become a management excellent person can be lonely and frustrating. Because as you pursue this path, people will laugh at you. Oh boy, shine your eye. Oh, this is Nigeria. Oh boy, shine your eye. Oh, this is what you are doing. Just know that it means you should do what? Avoid such people. And guess what? Sometimes they may have been your benefit. But is it the teacher that taught you in nursery that is going to teach you in secondary? So at that time, that was their role. They have finished their role. So don't carry them into your future. You'll notice if a rocket is going up, at some point it must drop the fuel. If it doesn't, it will explode. But it can't get to that stratosphere without that fuel. But at some point, the thing will detach. Most of us are not making progress excellently because we're carrying with us people that we should have dropped. They have finished their role. Whether they paid your school fees, whether they are your parents, at some point, they have finished. You have to move on. Besides, remember, you are running for the prize, not for an individual's applause. So whatever you do, whether you eat or drink, or whatever you do, do it all for the glory of God. 1 Corinthians 10:13:1. This is one of my favorite verses, by the way. 1 Corinthians 10:31. So whether you eat or drink, or whatever you do, do it all for the glory of God. Whatever. You are eating, you are taking a bath, you are teaching, he said, whatever you do it all to the glory of God. That includes how we talk to people at the supermarket. That includes how we talk to our nanny and our driver and the security man. We're the boss now. They are paying their salary, so what? All of that is in management excellence. Some of you don't even know their surname or their siblings, or what, you don't know anything about them other than their first name. Some don't even know their first name. You can't be excellent that way. And there's several examples in scripture that the solution to your problem may be in that house girl. Abby? Whatever you do, work at it with all your heart as working for the Lord, not for human masters. Colossians 3:23. This one is for those, I've spoken about you are the boss. Now you are the subordinate. You are the one with a boss that is wicked, Colossians 3:23 is for you. He says, whatever you do, work at it with all your heart as working for the Lord, not for human masters. Until you find another job. That is management excellence. So it's not only for the Oga, it's for all of us. They are both similar. Work hard at everything you do in order to bring glory to God. It's a great verse to apply to a job that you may not love. But right now, that is what is in your hand. Just always say, my boss is God. The owner of this business is until you find something else. Otherwise, leave the job. Find something else to do. Even though your current situation may not be great, that doesn't give you the right to be slack at work. We need to be working as if God were the owner of our business. And in the book of Titus, we are taught the need for us to be an example for others by doing what is good. The book of Titus chapter 2, verses 7 to 8. Titus 2, verses 7 to 8. In everything, set them an example by doing what is good. In your teaching, show integrity, seriousness, and soundness of speech that cannot be condemned, so that those who oppose you may be ashamed because they have nothing bad to say about you. Book of Titus chapter 2, verses 7 to 8. So we can do this by having integrity and taking things seriously. If we implement these things into our life, then those who try to oppose us will not have anything to condemn us. It's almost like that phrase, kill them with your kindness. But rather, it's like, kill them with your management excellence. It shuts people's mouths. We run a co-work facility called The Bunker. The first one we opened about 4.5 years ago. But if you go there today, you would think we just opened it last month. The light bulbs are still intact. No chair is broken. No tap. The head has not turned this way. In 4.5 years, in this same Nigeria. And it's not me. We have created that management excellence in our people. It may not be like that initially when they joined us. But guess what? Like I said, it's like a pebble. I've watched them. As they imbibe it in the office, their homes are transformed. Their families are transformed. And they wonder how. The how was just a pebble. You just being the excellency you want to see. Again, there's no perfection, only God is. So I have my own shortcomings here and there. But I've certainly gone beyond the candle. I'm not the sun yet, but certainly not the candle. So that's a progression. Just find how to broaden your light and consistently stay there. Jesus did everything well. He's a perfect model of management excellence. He took nothing lightly. So much so that Jesus commanded them not to tell anyone. But the more he did so, the more they kept talking about it. People were overwhelmed with amazement. He has done everything well, they said. He even makes the deaf hear and the mute speak. That's from the book of Mark, chapter 7, verses 36 to 37. Mark 7, 36 to 37. Because of his effectiveness at his work, he had people talking constantly about him. Even when he said, don't talk about me. That is when you will know management excellence is at play. People will want to know why you are like that in this environment. And when they come and ask, what would you be telling them? Anybody? When people see that management excellence displayed in you as a Christian in the work field, and they come to ask you, how? God! So that is the ministry. That's the best ministry in the world. They will ask you, so which church do you attend? When do you people meet? Pastor Ifai is here. We hold Thanksgiving services every first working day of each month. Our Muslim staff, they come to that service. When we say in Jesus' name, they say amen. Because they are seeing the results. Some of them, they just can't say it at home. They have left. Eventually, they will declare it. But guess what? Some of the Christians in the office don't attend. Praise the Lord. Then we will have the opportunity to credit our God. And then the real work begins of the teaching, the equipping for 30th year anniversary begins to unfold. Then the ministry grows, but growing not because we want the number, growing because we're transforming lives all over the place. That is the real ministry. So here's how to be excellent in your role, because my time is pretty fast spent. Like I said, I'll share 8 things. If you want to be excellent, specific things you can do to make you more excellent from wherever you are on a scale of 0 to 10, whether you're 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm not sure there is a 10. Maybe only God is 10. Right. Number 1, strive to be humble as our Lord Jesus Christ. You can't demonstrate management excellence without humility. Try to be humble. Philippians 2:6. Who, being in very nature of God, did not consider equality with God something to be used to his own advantage. So we're in several leadership positions. What are you doing with that authority? I'm the MD of a company. So I'm like a small God with a small g. Whatever I say goes. If you are not humble, that's a very dangerous power to hold over people's lives, their progress. So like I said, are the people under you growing? Number 2, create great outcomes. Make sure you are intentional in creating something that when people see, they will see it stands out from the others. Don't do things just like the way everybody does. Create great outcomes. Provide amazing services to the church. 3, learn to respond quickly to complaints. Because once you're in a position of authority, there will be feedback that are complaints. But the way we react to complaints usually is we feel like our authority is being undermined. No. Take the feedback. It gives you an opportunity to explain, perspectives. The person may not have the full picture. Then you'll be able to explain why it is or why you did what you did. But also be open. They may give you information even you were not privy to. That necessitates you. Many times I've gone back to my colleagues and said, guys, that decision was wrong. I apologize. Can we reverse it? And sometimes they are shocked. But that's the reality. So respond quickly to complaints. 4, show patience with frustrating members and co-workers. No matter what you do, some will be frustrated. No matter what you do, but be patient. Just be Christ-like. 5, handle finances with integrity. I'm talking to church leaders. So if you know you can't handle money, don't say because you are the pastor. Find who in your congregation is good with money and delegate. Otherwise, the day the church asks for his money, you'll be scratching your head. So manage finances, including your own personal finance, with integrity. 6, work diligently at all times. Like I said, I was impressed. I get invited to speak as a conference speaker several times. Rarely do you see the program start at the time indicated. Rarely. So that's just one example of be diligent. And all this traffic. If you had a visa interview for 7 a.m., how come there's never traffic? How come? You are never late for that one. So it's not about trailer broke down. You're just not diligent. And you can't be excellent if you are like that. 7, come to church with a can-do attitude. Nothing is impossible with God. Nothing. So come to church with that can-do attitude. Again, it's a mindset. If you have a mindset that it can't be done, then it won't be done. 8, be intentional in providing positive experiences to all that you come across. In church and outside church. Be intentional. In fact, you should never be given the right to lead any group if you don't love people. If you don't love people, then stop leading them. You can't lead people. You can't really be efficient if you don't love the people you have responsibility for. So learn to and that requires you to be intentional. And there are several courses. If you need help, go and study emotional intelligence. Just how to be more and more emotionally intelligent. Especially in the times that we're living in. I'm sure you read it all over the place. A lot of the kidnappings and the frauds are coming from people that are near you. And people will tell me but I love them, I pay them well. Sometimes it's not what you pay. How do you talk to them? If I'm paying you well, but I'm relating with you as if you are nobody. Whatever you pay me doesn't win that. In conclusion, I hope it is clear from this message about management excellence that our exceptional work has to point and give glory to the one we serve, our Creator. It's never about us. It has to point to Him. We can't do this by just enjoying fellowship in church. Because God does nothing short of excellence Himself. We should always be striving to be excellent too. When we are the best at our jobs, people will wonder why. Being the best at what we do can give us a platform to share the love of Christ with others. Is the best way to minister. Whether that is through our actions or our words. Either way, if we do everything well, it will get heads turning and people talking. And our platform to share the love of Christ will expand with our ever-growing exceptional work. So, Glory Christian Ministries, at least from those little 2 tests that I did this morning, you passed them. So it shows there's something right here. But we can clap for ourselves. But it should not stop at just at the Glory Dome. Let's hope that same perfection or excellence is everywhere. And I believe for the organizing committee to have chosen this topic, it must be because they recognize that this thing is not everywhere in the congregation, including your personal life. Let people see you and ask, where do you worship? Let me follow you there. The people I've met here, some I've met in several other ways, and it's exciting to know that now I understand. Either they come through Pastor Ifeanyi and all of that, like Baba Ajibike here, there's some work he's doing for us. He's done two fantastic works. Maybe it's a good place to round up. We needed to expand our office in Yaba. Yaba, I think, was our 4th facility. So we had used different builders for all the other facilities. And Pastor Ifeanyi introduced him for that extension. And he called 5 different builders to meet me at the site. And by the time I observed their conduct, just inspecting and discussing, it was clear we should go for him. Now, after that work, which was like a test, then we had a much bigger project in Uyo, as it is, because we're opening, hopefully, the bunker Uyo in another 2-3 weeks. So we said, since he's done so well here, not the people we have used for 5 years, let him go to Uyo. And the first time I was going to go to Uyo to inspect work that was going on site, if you haven't been there before, I don't know how he travels, but it's a 12-hour journey. But he was there on site, as it is, and supervising, and I mean, that is management excellence, as it is. So when I say you reflect in your work, you understand. So it's not just to say you are in church. When people see you outside, when they interact with you, what do they see? That is real management excellence. And don't worry if you miss it, as we all will miss it sometime. Like they do in boxing, you are not defeated when you are knocked down. I hope you know that. They will lift your hand. Once you are ready, they say, continue. So if life knocks you down, oh, you've broken a leg, can you just please still continue? Let the leg be like this. Just continue. The other leg goes, oh yeah, crawl. Just continue. Just continue. Because you'll be knocked down, no matter what we do. So don't say, this man talk. This is not, he doesn't know my own story. God knows your story. I don't need to know your story. He knows your story. The key thing that works for people like us is we increasingly surround ourselves with the people with the right mindset. That is the solution. Mindset is powerful. Because we're all, I can't remember who wrote that book, As a Man Thinketh. Absolutely. It's a very small book, about 72 pages. Please get the book if you've never read it. Because as a man thinketh, so is he. As you think, so you are. But guess what? Our thinking is influenced by environment, role models we submit ourselves to, and hereditary family we're born into. You can't change the family you are born into. But you can change your environment. You can change your role models. And your life will change. Regardless of the family you are born into. Change your role models, change your environment. Thank you very much again, Dr. I.S. James and the church.
All right. I think we already have a question here, sir. And thank you so much for that wonderful presentation. All right. Please, I want to know, as a form of personal development, where or what are the trainings available for someone like me? We don't know who this person is. Someone like me who wants to be excellent in all sphere of life, family life, career, business, etc. Is that question clear enough, sir? All right, thank you so much. All right, thank you, sir.
Especially the times that we are in, there are lots of opportunities to develop yourself online. Right, so whether it's career, business, whatever, just go to Mr. Google. And guess what? A lot of them are free. So the issue of I don't have money is also not there. Even I personally also do lots of free things. Maybe through Pastor Ifeanyi later, if you want to follow me, there's YouTube, there are all kinds of groups. You can see lots of free material. Right. But if you really want to develop yourself, it will cost you time, it will cost you money. It will cost you time, just like you are here. This is costing you time. You could have been elsewhere. So it's going to cost you time, it's going to cost you money. The frustration I see sometimes in people is, okay, I don't have money. Remember I said mindset. You may not have money, but if your intention and motive is right, there are people that will provide that money. It's the same way you go to an uncle or an auntie or a friend and you collect the money to buy a phone or to do your hair. Can you go to them and say, I want to go for this program? It costs 30,000 naira. They will find it for you. Or the one says, take 2,000, take 3,000. Then you gather it. So you have to do the work. That's where a lot of us also fall back. So there are lots of free, but some will be paid. I do free, I do paid, and all of that. So but you have to do it yourself.
Please put your hands together and appreciate our speaker. Thank you so much. Please, is it right to manage church finance in someone's personal bank account while the church has provided bank account for the same purpose?
I believe the answer is in the question. The answer is in the question, especially the second part of the question, when the church has provided. So that is certainly, there's no integrity in that. There's no integrity. And you see, usually the church would have done that also to protect and help you. Money is a spirit. So it takes serious maturity and intelligence to manage it well. Not to talk of somebody else's money. Be careful.
Thank you so much, sir. Put your hands together for that response. All right. Do we have anyone in the auditorium who would like to ask a question? All right. There are hands going up.
I'm a teacher and I'd like to know how the concept of management excellence can be applied to the cognitive dimension of our lives. Thank you.
Okay.
Is it understood?
It's understood, but I'm glad that a teacher, Pastor Feyi, will be speaking to you later today. I'm a third class graduate. So some of those grammars, but we attempt it, then she will fill in after. The application basically is the same. And you see, the thing with management excellence is, or anything you want to learn in life, it's not the day you decide to ride a bicycle that you get it right. You fall down, then you perfect it. Practice makes perfect. Right. What happens a lot of times is we're too hard on ourselves. And usually because we are measuring ourselves with somebody else. A fish cannot climb a tree. No matter how hard a fish tries, it can't climb a tree. So if that fish is a Nigerian, the fish will be saying this country is bad. But you're a fish. You can't climb tree. But can you throw that fish in water? So find your lane and stay there. That's it. Just find your lane and stay there, regardless of what you read in school. What you read in school is your profession. Your career is what you want to walk your life through. So don't feel, because I read economics, but I've been doing consulting work, HR consulting for 16 years. Guess what? I don't have one HR certification. But I have several staff, the SPRI, HPRI, they have all of it. Me, I don't have any. But I'm doing a business in that field. So life is not as complicated as we look at it.
Thank you so much. Let's put the hands together. Ladies and gentlemen, for Soji Oyawoye. Come on, clap your hands and appreciate this great management expert. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.